During the Elizabethan time period, it was expected of guests or even the host to wash their hands before a meal, or in this case, supper. Guests brought their own silverware. The rich had metal utensils, and the poor had wooden or anything that they could afford. The rich had their own special cases to carry with them, and the poor just carried them in their hat or pocket.
Whoa, what is that?
A fork. Haven't you ever seen one before?
Goodness, no.
Forks were a very uncommon eating utensil, and when they were used only amongst the rich.
Here's your menus, madam.
Thank you, Sybil. This is so difficult to decide. Sometimes I often think to myself that if there were less options, I would be able to decide what to get quicker.
Oh, be grateful. At least you have options.
So, have you heard about the new exotic foods from the New World?
I believe I haven't. Do tell.
Shortly after the New World was discovered, new items were found considering to be edible. Fortunately enough, I have the opportunity to taste some of these luxurious foods.
Lucky you. Can you provide me the names of this food you speak of?
Of course, tomatoes, turkey, potatoes, maize, vanilla, kidney beans, pineapples, lima beans, peanuts, tapioca, corn, pumpkin, squash, avocado, pecans, cashews, coffee, tea, and chocolate.
I'm afraid I've managed to conjure up another sore throat. If you don't mind, I will excuse myself.
Oh, don't go. Don't go. Please, don't.
Fine. What is this medicine you speak of?
Tea from the New World.
Tea, coffee, and chocolate was frequently used as a medicine. Although we may drink coffee and tea hot today, this was not the case in this time frame. They often drank these beverages cold.
Can I get you anything to drink, madam?
Yes, I believe so. I would like some wine, and my friend over there would like some tea and mead because she may be falling ill.
Let's see. Would you like to try our all-new apple wine?
Sure.
Based on what you could afford depended on what you drank on a daily basis. The poor drank ale, while the rich had wine and ale. Mead, though, was shared equally amongst both classes. Considering that water was much dirtier, alcoholic drinks were consumed more often. The average person consumed about a gallon of alcohol a day. You must be thinking now that everybody back then was an alcoholic, but there is where you are wrong. Alcoholic drinks had a very low alcohol content, so people were not constantly drunk all of the time.
Are you ready to order?
Yeah. I would like some spit roasted eel.
And for you?
I think I will take the vegetable stew.
Although Edith uses the term vegetable, the term wasn't commonly used. It was more frequently referred to as an herb. Alice ordering meat indicates her wealth because more often than not, only the rich could afford meat. However, she has no vegetables with her meal because they were deemed unworthy of the rich, along with dairy products.
Of course, she has to order the one thing we're running short on. Olive,
Yes?
go to the market and get some livestock, grab an eel, and make no haste. We don't want to keep them waiting.
Yes, right away.
I'm so glad Olive can afford to have me as her cook. I get to cook with many different herbs and spices like Avens, borage, clary, dainty, gallondale, hyssop, lavender, bullace, chipple, and skirret. I even am able to cook for her in all different ways, though through spit roasting, baking, broiling, smoking, salting, frying, and even simmering.
Were you talking to yourself?
No, why would you think that? Go away. Thank you. Before we begin, shall we pray?
Yes.
May I? O Lord, which givest thy creatures for our food, herbs, beasts, birds, fish, and other gifts of thine, bless thee thy gifts, that thy may do us good, and we may live to praise thy name divine. And then the time is come this life to end. Vouchsafe our souls to heaven may ascend.
It was expected to have grace said before they start a meal.
So, what is your favorite food?
Ugh, you're so weird.
You're looking a little thinner from when I last saw you. Why is that? Have you been eating lately?
Stop it, you're not my mom. Besides, it has been hard to come across food since this year there has been a poor harvest. So yeah, I have starved at times, but I usually do eat well.
The poor person's average diet consisted of about half a pound of bread, a pint of beer, a pint of porridge, and sometimes a quarter pound of meat.
So what about you?
Yeah, I've always been able to eat, but it can be annoying at times because I have to get up at certain times to eat and walk all the way down from my room to the Great Hall, where the food is probably colder than what the cook originally made it to be.
At least you have a meal.
The rich usually had a particular schedule for their meals, breakfast taking place from 6 to 7 a.m., dinner, which nowadays is called lunch, from 12 to 2 p.m., and supper from 6 to 7 p.m. In big houses, castles, or anything concerning that category, the Great Hall was far away from the kitchen, so food was served cold.
Before you go, we would like to order dessert, but have the chef surprise us. I trust your judgment. So, have you heard about the new latest trend?
Does it look like I keep up with that kind of stuff?
It's black teeth. I was actually thinking about getting some cosmetics to, add that effect, because clearly I do not have black teeth.
Ew, no, that's gross.
Having black teeth was a form of showing your high social status. The rich would develop black teeth from the amount of sugar they had, or they just had cosmetics to make it seem this way.
I remember the last time I had dessert was 5 years ago. I baked a cherry pie in the communal oven, and once everyone had seen and smelt the pie, I couldn't just keep it all to myself, so I cut everyone in the village a piece of that pie. One of the best days of my life.
Oftentimes, towns or villages had an oven that everyone shared because having an oven was not only a lot of maintenance, but they were expensive too.
Boy, I cannot wait to bake some sugar cakes. I haven't used my baking trays in forever.
Instead of a baking tin, cooks would use a baking tray made out of hardened pastry that people called a coffin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This looks so delicious.
Great. I'll be sure to share your compliments with the chef.
So how much do I owe you?
Nothing at all. It's on the house.
Really?
Yeah.
Whew, that's a relief, because I never thought I would have to be able to pay that debt off. Thank you so much.
See ya.
Ugh, I'm so sick of this eel. Olive, go put this in the storeroom.
Okay.
Salting was a common method used to preserve food, as was smoking, pickling, and desiccation. However, when they cooked the food after storing it with the salt preservation method for so long, they would place many spices over top the salty taste. The still room was a storage place for food, along with it being used to process food.
With
Thank you. Goodbye, servant.
We're gonna do that again.
I'm so sick of this eel. Wait, what is scoffing?
Like,
go.
So, wait, is it recording right now?
Mhm.
Stop it. Put your pen away.
There. It's